All right, fire them up!
As the song says, it's been a while. That's on me. That's my fault. So strap in. It's gonna be a while. This is the Tweakable Podcast. What's up, everybody? I'm Jake Alexander, the voice in the void, the lone wolf, your favorite host with a list. How the hell are you? Welcome to another episode of the Tweakable Podcast. I hope you are doing well. I am. Yes, it has been a while. I was trying to do something different. I was thinking maybe instead of doing the big episodes like this every Saturday, we just do little episodes during the week. That way I can space out the information. You can get a lot more of it and have more to watch, more content to watch. But I got messages saying that, hey, they actually like the news segments and how we have it structured when we do episodes like this. So we're going to go back to this for a little while, see how it's working out. The channel's doing well, and I'm happy. I'm so happy so many of you have come into the channel. So all my new subscribers, hello, welcome. This is how we used to do things, and we're going to be doing it like this for a little while. But again, I am so happy to be behind the mic and in front of you on this very, very sunny day, and I'm glad it's starting to warm up because May started off pretty cold. I don't know about nobody else, but around here, it got chilly. And then now it's starting to warm up again. So hopefully we've broken through and it'll stay warm. But that's a whole different topic. We'll get to it. Today we're going to be talking about Thunderbolts. Actually a really, really good MCU movie. And, you know, I had certain thoughts about it at first. But then the more I thought about it, the more I realized that this movie's a lot better than even I thought coming out of it. I've seen it twice already, but we're going to be talking about that today. But before we get into that, let's talk about the news. Before we get to the news, I just want to say that in the time that we've been away, we've lost a handful of legends across entertainment. Men like George Foreman, Val Kilmer, Clive Revere, Chet Lemon from Major League Baseball, and the comedian Ruth Buzzy. Throughout my entire life, all of these people have touched me and have entertained me in some way, shape, or form. And I just say rest in peace to all of them. And thank you very much for your years of entertainment, not just for me, but for everybody around the world. At the top of the news, we talk about what's happening at the box office. The biggest movie over the past couple of weeks was obviously Sinners. If you've been watching the news and have not been living under a rock, we all know that. Fantastic movie. If you want to see the review that I had for it, absolutely fantastic movie. There'll be a link right here above my head or down in the comments. You can go watch that review at your leisure. But it was knocked out of its number one spot by Thunderbolts as soon as it came out. Thunderbolts opened up to between $74 and $75 million over its opening weekend. Sinners at now just about 181 million worldwide, and Mincreaft holding on, just will not let go. It's coming in at number 3, just under $4 million worldwide so far. Mincreaft movie is going to be probably the biggest movie this year. I don't see any other movie catching it, but Sinners is a sleeper runaway hit. It's going to come well over $200 million, I guarantee. And considering they had a very small budget, it's probably going to be the most profitable movie over the course of the year. I am so happy that Sinners is really getting a lot of traction and a hell of a lot more buzz. Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, fantastic film. Again, you see the review somewhere. Find one of the links somewhere around here, and make sure if you haven't seen it, go out and see Sinners. Go out to the movie theater and see Sinners. Do not wait for it to come to streaming. And same thing with Thunderbolts, which we will be talking about later. You need to go to the theater and see that too. But so far so good. May is starting to turn around the entire movie industry, but we don't know what's going to happen. But we have a lot of big movies coming up. Mission Impossible. We're going to see what could be Tom Cruise's last film. We don't know. It might be, it might not be. But we have Jurassic Park, Fantastic Four. We got all these really big movies coming over the summer months. So let's see what happens. And maybe, just maybe, this year at the box office will be the year people start going back to the film. All you fans of GTA 6, I kind of told you this was going to happen a few months ago, and I didn't want to be right, but here I am right. The game will not be coming out at toward the end of this year like they were expecting it to be. Now it's been moved to May 26th, 2026, next year. I said a few months ago, and I've been saying for close to a year, I don't think Grand Theft Auto 6 will ever see the light of day. They make way too much money just pumping out DLCs for Grand Theft Auto 5. Why come out with an all new game? I think when they released a trailer a few years ago, and yes, the first trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6 was a few years ago. I think when they released it and it got more traction than even they thought it was going to do, they had to figure out some way to backpedal the game without releasing it, and I think that's what they're doing. They're just going to keep releasing DLCs for Grand Theft Auto 5, make money that way. Grand Theft Auto 6 will probably never see the light of day. Whatever happens, I will let you know. To me, I don't particularly care. I'm not a big Grand Theft Auto fan. I would have wanted to play it a few years ago if they had come out with it then, but after all this time now, they can just keep it. Speaking of video games, don't forget that the SAG-AFTRA video game voice actor strike is still ongoing, now at day 288 at the time of the recording of this. I kind of thought that this was going to be over maybe a couple of months ago, but obviously it still hasn't. There at least has been some traction on them talking. There's been proposals passed back and forth over the past week. So let's see what happens. We're getting close to a full year. Like I said, it was already video games being affected by it. There are video games that do not have dialogue in them where they were supposed to. They're using interim voice actors for a lot of games now instead of going with the longtime actors. Like one of my favorite video games, Destiny 2, a lot of the older voice actors that have been in the game are now being replaced by temporary voice actors while they are still releasing content for those games. So whatever happens with that, I will let you know. Again, day 288. There's a little bit of movement, so let's hope maybe within the next month this strike will be over, because if they go over a month, then it really will wind up being a full calendar year with this strike, which I kind of predicted at the beginning, and I was hoping I was wrong, but it looks like I'm going to be right with that as well. If you are a fan of the Batman film that starred Robert Pattinson and directed by Matt Reeves, if you're a fan as big as I was, then this is bad news. Matt Reeves, the director-writer from the first film, is now out as a director. Now, this could just be something small where he's still going to be working on the film, just not directing, not the number one director. He could be the second unit director, but still has like overarching power to the film. But we don't know. He's already written the script. It is said that he's stepping aside because of illness. That's not a official report that's why he's stepping away as the director of the film. But that is the leading theory why so far. There was talk about him being sick just a few months ago, and he had to stop with the early production of the film. The script for it is done. He's already written the entire script. They were getting ready to start and do other things. It was said that they had done a big chunk of the movie and they were moving toward post-production, but turns out after I'd done some digging, a lot of the movie is not even done yet. They were basically still in one of the pre-production stages for the film, so they still had a lot of work to do, but some of it was done, just not enough of it to finish the film off and go into post-production. But whatever happens with that, I'll let you know. The fact that he's not going to be there, I wonder what happens with the film if he's not the one heading it. James Gunn has already said he doesn't want to bring Batman into the DCU anytime soon. He's also said that he doesn't want to touch anything Elseworlds within the DCU. So if he doesn't want to touch anything Elseworlds, which is one of the imprints from DC Comics, then he wouldn't even touch the Robert Pattinson version of Batman. That would be left separate to its own thing. I personally think you can have two separate Batmans within DC and Warner Brothers doing movies. You can have Elseworlds and let them have their own thing, especially with the success of the Penguin series. And then James Gunn can have a Batman for his series. I don't think you can bring Robert Pattinson into the DCU with where they're going with everything under James Gunn. That's all like All-Star Superman. That's a lighter tone, more golden era type of action. I don't think Batman would that the Robert Pattinson is playing real street level, real gritty, real grounded, fighting serial killers. I don't think you can bring that guy into that world and it makes sense. So I think we're gonna push. I think they'll probably just kind of push the Robert Pattinson Batman to the side and say, "Hey, go over there, do your own thing, no problem. We support you. Do your own thing, do well, because it's no matter which side does well, it's good for everybody." So like I said, I'm gonna keep my eye on that, and I'll let you know what happens whenever I get some more news. We've gotten trailers on top of trailers on top of trailers over the past month since we haven't seen each other. We've gotten one for Jurassic World that's coming. We've gotten one for Fantastic Four. We got actually a couple of trailers for Fantastic Four. But for me, there are 3 trailers I'm really interested in that I've seen over the past couple of weeks. One is for the next and what is going to be the last Mission Impossible movie, Dead Reckoning Part 2. Like I said, it could be the last film for Tom Cruise. It may not be, but let's cross your fingers and hope it isn't. Tom Cruise may actually go down in history as the greatest action hero we've ever seen. And that's saying a lot because he's up against the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone and so many others, but that's a whole different conversation for a whole nother time. The other 2 trailers that I've seen that I'm really interested in is 2 TV shows. One is Peacemaker, and the other one is a film, Old Guard 2, not a TV show, Old Guard 2, which is going to come on Netflix. Both of them look phenomenal. Peacemaker looks like it's going to go right back to the first series, feel exactly like that. It's going to be funny, lots of action, and a lot of swearing. Old Guard 2 looks like it's going to be a ton of action with some really deep lore, really good storytelling. If you haven't seen those trailers, I'm going to have those trailers up before the weekend is over on Instagram. Don't forget to follow our page over there so you can see those trailers. Like I said, all 3 of them look like they're going to be really good. I can't wait for Fantastic Four, and I really can't wait for Dead Reckoning 2. That's Final Reckoning. That's actually what it's going to be called. I think Final Reckoning is going to be a fantastic movie, especially if you like any of the Mission Impossible films. I think that's going to be a really good one. That's one of those few films where I'm willing to pay good money and sit in the theater and watch. So we'll see what happens. And when those movies and when those TV shows does come out, we will review all of those, and I'll let you know when that's going to happen. Comic book fans, I know you had a great time last week, as did I. Was free comic book day, and I just went crazy in the store. Me and the kids went out, had a bunch of fun, bought a bunch of comic books, had lunch. It was just a great day all around. But if you are into comic books, or if you're looking for something that you really want to read, I suggest you pick up 2 series, both of them from Marvel. Number 1, Alien versus Avengers. I'm not going to tell you what's happening in this one or the other one, as a matter of fact, but this is such a good story so far. It's just basically getting started. I'm telling you, if you really want to watch or read something really good, this is a really good read. And the other one, just on the other side of the Alien series, Predator versus. Now, this one is Predator versus Spider-Man, but there has been Predator versus other characters thus far in this series. Get them, read them. Both of the series, really good. I am, number 1, a huge fan of Aliens. It's my absolute favorite movie franchise. Always has been, always will be. I think every single film was done really well. I'm really impressed by Predator, especially over the last few films. Prey, I can't wait till this new animated series feature comes out. I can't wait till the next film comes out, Predator Badlands. Both of them look like they're going to be really good. There's a trailer for Predator Badlands. I'm not going to put it on Instagram, but it is over on YouTube. You can find it pretty easily. Watch that trailer. Can't say enough good things about it. And when those films come out, we will be talking about them. But yeah, these 2 series right here, really good read. So if you're looking for something new to read, get these. You will be impressed. If you're an anime fan, I'm pretty sure you know we've had some really good anime since the beginning of the year, actually since the end of last year, rolling into the beginning of this year, and thus far. I did a episode not too long ago about 3 anime that I was very impressed by. So if you want to watch that one, it'll be a link somewhere above my head or down in the comments. You can go watch that one at your leisure. But one anime that I was totally looking forward to, Lazarus, which was a collaboration between director Chad Stahelski and famed anime director Shinichiro Watanabe. I was expecting this to be such a great anime to just knock it out of the park, and thus far I am very unimpressed. There are 3 more episodes left in the series, with the last one coming on May 25th, if I'm not mistaken. Once that last episode airs and I watch all of them, we'll get together and we're going to talk about it, because like I said, thus far Lazarus is a bit of a letdown. I was very much expecting Lazarus to be a lot better than what I've seen so far. I wasn't expecting it to be a all-time great thing like Cowboy Bebop was, especially coming from Shinichiro Watanabe. But I was expecting a lot more than what I've gotten. But like I said, as soon as that last episode comes out and I watch it so I can get the entire series under my belt, we will come back and we will talk about it and break it all down together. For all my big fans of streaming, I know you're really happy right now. There are a lot of streaming shows, a lot of TV shows right now that are just really, really good. My two favorite right now, The Last of Us on one hand, but my absolute favorite out of all of them, Andor. Andor started out little touchy and I didn't quite understand what they were trying to do with the story, but as we've gone through and we've gotten three episode blocks, with that last block, if I'm not mistaken, coming next Tuesday, it's just a fantastic show. It makes everything that I loved about Rogue One, I love it even more, and it makes me love Andor all that much more than I loved season 1. We're going to talk about that one. We're going to talk about Last of Us, but we're also going to throw in a third show that I don't hear enough people talking about, that I've already watched. It's already come and gone, and that's Reacher. We're going to talk about all three shows at once, because I think, honestly, all three shows, if you take them in their totality and watch them, then you understand, I think, where streaming needs to go if they expect to grow an audience and to move further into the future. Now, I specifically don't want streaming to get any bigger, because I want people to go back to the movie theaters. But if that is what's going to happen, I don't particularly have any say so in stopping it. So if we're going to move into full on streaming, no more movies in theaters, than what we need in front of us on streaming, I think those three shows are very much the tent poles and what needs to happen, especially with Andor over with Marvel and Disney and everything that they do. But we're going to talk about all three of those shows on another episode, so make sure you're tuned into the channel, so when I drop that episode, you can be right there waiting for it. Video game fans have a ton of things that they can play right now that are just so much fun, like Marvel Rivals. But right now, my favorite two video games, and they are running neck and neck for my absolute two favorite, South of Midnight and Clair Obscura Expedition 33. Both of those games are not just beautiful stories, not just fun time to play, but the visuals for both games are just out of this world. To me, those two are the tent poles to what gaming should become going into the future. Even on the current consoles and not next generation consoles, they are just light years above everything else. That's just my opinion, but honestly, I think if you're going to play any video game right now, play both of those. Don't just play one, play both. Play South of Midnight, play Clair Obscura Expedition 33. You will not be bored. I guarantee you will enjoy immensely both of those games. We're going to end the news today by talking about a show that I did not bring up earlier, specifically for a reason. Why? Well, you'll know because that series is Daredevil. Now, if you didn't already know, the first season for Daredevil Born Again has already come and gone. Absolute fantastic series. I didn't do a review on it because I didn't think it actually really needed one. If you sat and watched the series, you understand just how good it is. I think people have talked it to death anyway, but I was kind of expecting more news to come out of it, but they waited until the last couple of days to drop more news. Now, yes, season 2 is already in production, so that's not the news. The new news, season 3 is already talked about to be in pre-production. Yes, they're already writing everything, trying to figure everything out. How's it going to do it? And that third season is when we really need to be watching, because according to Vincent D'Onofrio and everything he said in an interview over the past couple of days, season 3, by the time it is over, we will see Wilson Fisk and Daredevil joining the MCU in some capacity. I have said this for a while. Everybody that was on the Netflix shows, and even with the newer Disney shows with Echo and Kingpin, played by Vincent D'Onofrio's Fisk, most of those characters need to be ported over into the MCU, especially the ones from the Netflix shows. I want all of them back, even if that means taking the Iron Fist back. I don't particularly want him, but I mean, if we have to take him to get everybody else back, fine. He's even said he wants to come back, so, I guess give him a second chance. Everybody deserves a second chance. But yeah, I want all of them. But according to the report, according to his own words, they're working third season for Daredevil Born Again in order to bring in more of the Netflix guests and in order to specifically get Daredevil and Wilson Fisk into the MCU. So if that's going to happen, that means they're going to drag more of the Netflix show members into the MCU. And if that be the case, I cannot wait for that to happen. That is going to be fantastic. I think they're trying to figure out how to keyhole everything from with that little bubbled in universe, how to push that through by the time everything's over with Doomsday. And now that Doomsday is going to be 2 movies, which I don't know why that would be surprising to anybody. It should be 2 movies, but by the time Doomsday and everything is all done and shaken to the ground, I believe that's when they're going to move all of those people into a battle world and then into the MCU proper, along with X-Men and everything else. But that is going to be a great time. I can't wait for more news on that one. We don't exactly have anything definitive from the production staff, only from the interview with Vincent D'Onofrio from, I believe, Thursday over the past couple of days. So whenever I get any more out of that, I will let you know. And so just cross your fingers that we get more in the upcoming weeks. That's all of our news for now. Don't forget to stay right here on this channel and over on Instagram page. There will be a lot more news coming out over the next couple of days that I'm going to drop here on this channel and over on Instagram page. So make sure you're following both of those. I don't want you to miss out on anything. It's a really good time for all of us nerds because a lot of our properties are starting to get traction again. The Thunderbolts movie, which we're about to talk about as soon as this is over, to me, it signals a sea change for everything coming in the MCU. But we're going to talk about that next. Like I said, don't forget to follow the Instagram page at _tweakle_pod. And don't forget to follow right here on the Wolf in Nerd Clothing. That's the Wolf clothing spelled with a K. You see it right there. But yeah, I'm going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Thunderbolts and why it's actually the best MCU film we've had in quite a few years. Now, I specifically know better, but I feel like I have to say this out loud because not enough people seem to understand this. So here goes. The Suicide Squad, Thunderbolts, not equivalent. Suicide Squad in DC Comics is a bunch of government leashed super crooks who basically have no conscience, who are just trying to get their jail sentences reduced by doing work for Amanda Waller under the codename Task Force X. And most of the time they are clandestine. They don't actually want to be known. The whole point is to get in, do the dirt, get out, and if you come back alive and don't cause any trouble, hey, we'll take years off of your sentence. Whereas with the Thunderbolts, all of these people were basically just very mercurial. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. They're not really anti-heroes. In their inception, they're led by the Red Hulk and they go wherever they want to go. Now, yes, you get to a storyline which covers all of Marvel, like Civil War, and they are very much just, the team itself is just full of villains and they're working for the government. Yes, on surface they look the same, but Thunderbolts and Suicide Squad are not the same. Now I say that specifically because if you go into watching Thunderbolts, if you haven't seen it already, and you think that, oh, it's just like Suicide Squad, you're going to be very, very much disappointed. Because watching Thunderbolts, you need to understand that they are nothing like that. Whereas Suicide Squad are conscienceless crooks that are going to be conscienceless crooks once they're off the team. Most of the Thunderbolts go into the team. They have less of a moral code, but they always wind up developing one, and they try to do the right thing more often than not. Sometimes it blows up in their face and they wind up falling back into being criminals and anti-heroes on occasion, because the team has sported the members to the likes of Punisher over the years. So I mean, you should understand that they're not always villains. Sometimes they're anti-heroes. Sometimes they're just regular heroes. I mean, hell, a couple of other Avengers have led the Thunderbolts team over the years. So they're not always anti-heroes or criminals. Most of them are just doing government work in order to just make a buck. So basically Thunderbolts is a working class team, whereas Suicide Squad are a bunch of criminals. Cool, we understand that. All right, let us talk about Thunderbolts. Now, before we really dig into it, I want to let you know there are going to be a handful of spoilers. So if you haven't watched the movie, which I don't understand why you haven't seen it by now, and are you watching this? But if you haven't actually seen it, you're going to have a couple of spoilers in this in this review. So just kind of click away, go watch the movie, then come back. I'm not going anywhere. This will be right here on YouTube for everybody to see for a little while to come. But yeah, Thunderbolts very much to me feels like watching the first Avengers movie. And I did not really catch on to that until I saw it for the second time. I kept wondering, why am I watching this like I've seen this before? But it very much feels like watching the first Avengers movie. You have a bunch of people who not so much have superpowers, except you have a couple of super soldiers, you have people with powers, you have basically just government agents who are super soldiers themselves, but they all wind up coming together under spurious and very weird circumstances in order to handle a situation that nobody else can handle, because there's just not enough people out there with enough skills or power sets to deal with it. And that's how the Thunderbolts team comes together, not even in the comics, but also in this film. Almost as much as how much this film deals with depression and coming to grips with everything in your past and trying to find your way through it all. A lot of this film is just about strange bedfellows coming together and forming the team in and of itself. To me, this film, just like I said, it feels like watching the very first Avengers film, and I really enjoyed that. To me, this film is so very much grounded, and it's the way that I believe Marvel is moving toward films, not just the TV shows, but films as well. If they're going to go back to a more grounded, more realistic, slightly less jokey, even though we're going to talk about that in a second, type of MCU film, then that's a good step. This does not feel like the previous films we've had over the past couple of years, like Thor, Love and Thunder, or the Guardians of the Galaxy 3, even though Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was absolutely fantastic. It doesn't feel like those. It feels like those early Marvel movies that made us fall in love with the genre in the first place. If you've never read a comic book or anything from the Thunderbolts, this film may look a little silly, and like I said earlier, it may make you think of Suicide Squad, but it's not like that. It is very much like the Avengers team coming together for the first time, where none of them understand each other. There is a lot of infighting and them arguing with each other and almost slightly about to stab each other in the back, even though early in the film, you do have a bunch of these members wind up trying to kill each other, and Taskmaster biting the bullet and catching literally a bullet in the face, and that character being taken out. Yes, that is a spoiler. Taskmaster does not make it to the end of this film, even though looking at all the promotional materials, you would think Taskmaster winds up on this team and makes it through to the very end of the film. But no, very early on in the film, Taskmaster is gone. That is something that they are going to have to contend with going forward. Taskmaster is a fantastic character that needs a hell of a lot of rehab and deserves to be reintroduced into the MCU. But let's just cross our fingers and hope that they do that somewhere down the line. Thunderbolts has a lot of heart. Like I said a few seconds ago, it very much deals with, the film itself deals with depression and anxiety and how people deal with it on a day-to-day basis. And a lot of that is focused on Yelena, who is very much grieving still the death of her sister. That was played by Scarlett Johansson, the Black Widow, who she's taken the place of in this. For me, watching this film, it reminds me not just of the first Avengers film, but it reminds me of what makes the characters in the MCU in general so very much fun to watch. It's never about their power set and the cool moves and the action sequences. It's all about the pull and push and how these characters interact with each other and how they are basically trying to hold on to their humanity in all of these just fantastic situations that they find themselves in. Like I said, the film itself focuses much more on Yelena, but once you start seeing the parallels between everything she's going through and everything that Bob, who is actually Sentry in this one, is going through, you start to understand that why this film is much more grounded and why it feels like those early days where Marvel was dealing very much more with character development instead of making things look big and look grandiose and look, so a lot of CGI, which we're going to talk about in a second. Those early days when we loved the films, those are the things that we actually fell in love with and gravitated toward it, even if we couldn't actually say it out loud. And they've moved away from it, which is why we started to move away from these films ourselves in general. But everything isn't all good with Thunderbolts. A lot of what's wrong with Marvel movies over the past couple of years, which we talk about it so much, it seems like it's just become the norm in Marvel movies. A lot of that shows up in this one as well. CGI on occasion gets wonky. There are a handful of jokes that just don't land. It's not that the jokes are bad, but they are just very much misplaced. There's a certain tone in watching a lot of Thunderbolts where it's more espionage, more dark, a little bit more gritty. It feels like watching Captain America, Winter Soldier, and watching The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It feels like watching that, but then all of a sudden that feeling gets broken up by a misplaced joke. Like I said, not because it's bad, but because it's misplaced. It's in the wrong space for the joke to be told, for the joke to be thrown out there. If they can literally pull some of that back and just roll with the tension, roll with the drama, I think so many more of these films will land a hell of a lot better. But watching Thunderbolts, you can tell that they're trying to do that. You can see where that joke probably just, they're like, we're not going to put it in. But then at the last second, they snuck it in. And you can tell that it's like, hey, if you would have just left it out, that entire scene becomes a hell of a lot better. But that's something that we've had to contend with Marvel films for quite a while now. But in general, you can still see where they're trying to move away from that, trying to get back to the more grounded and more realistic aspect of everything within these films. And that's good. That's a good thing. If they're going to do that, I applaud them, and I can't wait to see where they're going later on down the line with this. I also have to say that I absolutely loved Pullman in this film as Bob, Robert Reynolds, the Sentry. I absolutely loved his character. I loved how they played him. He is very comic accurate. This is probably the closest comic accurate villain, even though he's not technically a villain. This is probably the most comic accurate villain that we've had thus far, and even more than Thanos. And I know that's saying a lot, and I know that might piss a lot of people off, but he really is a hell of a lot more comic accurate than most of the other villains that we've seen thus far in the MCU. I love the fact that when he's not Sentry, when he's not Bob, and he's the Void itself, that dark presence within him that inhabits half of his psyche. I love the fact that you can't see anything except these small little slits of gray that are meant to be his eyes, and when Void and Sentry are actually fighting within this mental space, you actually get to see this little like slightly off gray smile that matches his eyes. I love the fact that that's all you get. It is creepy as all hell. It's an old trope that we've seen in horror movies, to where you don't know exactly what's coming to you, but all you can tell is that these eyes are staring right back at you as this entity, this malevolent thing, is moving towards you. You don't get that very often in MC movies at all, and quite honestly, and for them to do it here, it fits the character, number one, but it actually evokes enough terror where it's like, this entity is not, this thing is a problem. It is a proper thing where you need an Avengers team, and we're going to come back to that in a second. You need this Avengers team to come and deal with this, because there's no one force that's going to be able to deal with it. You need a group of people, which is where you get Thunderbolts to come in. But they aren't exactly the Thunderbolts anymore. By the time the movie is over and they go to confront Valentina and to arrest her after everything's said and done, because it is her who sent them to kill each other at the beginning of the film in order to have them wiped out, to tie up loose ends. They walk through a curtain, and like so many other movies that end with some sort of interview, she introduces them as the new Avengers team. Now that's going to lead into the after credit scene with Sam Wilson saying, "Hey, you can't use that name. I own it. It's copyrighted." And then they've decided, "Hey, maybe we'll come up with Avengers with a Z on the end," thanks to Red Guardian's suggestion. But we'll see how that all turns out. That's an interesting after credit scene. But yeah, that movie is just so good. My initial rating for it was a 7, but honestly, it's an 8. This is the absolute best Marvel movie we've seen since, I'm not going to say since Avengers Endgame, because that's not true. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is still better than this. It is. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 it's such a better movie. I would say since Guardians of the Galaxy 3, this is the best thing we've seen in Marvel outside of Daredevil. I'm not going to count Daredevil against this one. But the film is just that good. It's just really good. It's a hell of a lot of fun to sit there and watch this and say, hey, here's a Marvel movie. Even though a bunch of the jokes don't land, even though some of the CGI is a little bit wonky, this is still a really good movie. And we have not been able to say that about any MCU movie, I should say, in quite a while. That is a good step in the right direction. When Kevin Feige said that, hey, we're going to refocus our efforts onto making the MCU films and the TV shows feel like the early days, everybody scoffed and was like, we'll believe it when we see it. It's right here in front of you. You're seeing it. And I can't wait to see where they go with the MCU films after this one. And after this one, thanks to that after that second after credit scene, we know that this is going to lead directly into the Fantastic Four. So that second after credit scene where they are all talking about, hey, it takes place 14 months after the events of the movie, by the way. But hey, they say we have an extra dimensional incursion, and they start looking at a screen and watching this spaceship hurtle toward Earth, and the ship turns, and you see that unmistakable four for the Fantastic Four on the side of the ship, the same one we've seen in the trailers for the Fantastic Four film that's upcoming. Now, for me, I don't think they should have stuck this in. Not because I don't think the scene is any good. Far from it. The scene itself is fantastic, but here's the problem with them sticking that scene at the end of Thunderbolts. Now we know for an absolute fact the Fantastic Four escapes from their universe and Galactus destroys it. There is no other reason for them to have left their world or left their universe to come to the 616. We know that now for a fact. And I think they gave away a part of the ending of Fantastic Four by doing that. And I don't think they should have stuck that in this film. I honestly think that if they would have just left it where the shape of the ship, without ever seeing the four, that would have made the scene a little bit more palatable. Or just don't put the scene in there at all, and just wait till a few weeks before, a few days, I should say, before Fantastic Four drops, and then drop that scene on YouTube. That's a little thing that they could fix for me going into the future. Let's not give away so much so early, and honestly, just let's not give away so much at all. But overall, Thunderbolts, absolutely fun movie. There's absolutely nothing stopping you from going to watch it. Like I said, I've seen it twice. I might just actually go back and watch it the third time. My kids, I'm debating whether I want to take the kids to see it or not, but I think they can sit through this one. They're a little older than most other folks' kids, and they're a hell of a lot smarter. They're a lot smarter than me already. But I believe they can sit through it too, so I'll probably take them with me. Like I said, it is a really fun movie. Go see it if you haven't seen it already. I'm going for a third time. It's an 8 out of 10. I've said it enough. That is such a good movie. And up next, it's time for the last call. That's it, and that's all. It's time for the last call. I want to thank each and every single one of you for tuning in. I am so happy to be back doing it this way. I did enjoy just doing the reviews and dropping one little episode here and there the other way, but I still really do enjoy doing it this way. So if this is the way you want to see me do it from now on, hey, no problem. We'll do it just like this. We'll go back to doing one episode a week and occasionally throwing stuff in during the week, and we'll do our big wrap up on Saturday. But either way, I'm so happy. I want you to get out there today. Looks like it's It's going to be warm and sunny around where I'm at. I hope it's the same with you. Get out there, enjoy yourself, stay hydrated, stay blessed. Just take care of yourself, take care of each other. Don't do anything to harm yourself. And remember, if you need somebody to talk to, if you're feeling a little dark and you just absolutely cannot deal with it on your own, pick up the phone, dial or text 988. There's always somebody there to talk to. I promise you. When you need somebody, it's going to be somebody there. If you need to, hey, drop a comment in the comment section, and I'll get back to you as fast as I possibly can. But for now, we're going to get out of here. I'm not doing anything this weekend. We're going to get back to the weekend watch list at some point in the near future. I promise you that. All I'm going to do is take some of these comic books that I haven't gotten to, because I bought a lot of comics, a lot of new things at Free Comic Book Day. I'm going to read some of those. I'm going to sit down and watch a movie while I read it, have me another cup of coffee, and I'm going to just enjoy my weekend. Motor City Comic Con is coming up, so don't forget to tune in to the channel and make sure you see that is going to be coverage. It's going to be a lot of fun, because I'm not going by myself in cosplay this year. I'm actually going with my producer and my wife, Nikki Rev. She's going to be cosplaying right along with me, and you get to see her and meet her for the first time, because she doesn't know, but I am going to interview her, and we're going to talk about a handful of things on that episode. But we're also going to be you're also actually going to see me get to build the 2 cosplays I'm going to wear this upcoming weekend for Motor City Comic Con. So make sure you tune into the channel for that, and just have yourself a good old time in your life. And I will catch you on the next episode, and we shall end this episode the same way we end every episode. God bless. I love you, and peace. See you next time.